If my boss had sent a normal text, I would have said no. Instead, at 5:37 p.m., as I was shutting down my computer, my phone buzzed with 4 words that sounded harmless: "Need help with shelf." It came from Elena Voss, my boss, the woman who could make a whole floor of analysts go silent just by walking past the glass wall of her corner office. She added one more line: "I will owe you." I stared at the message. I was a senior analyst at Voss Capital, not a handyman, but everybody knew I built furniture on weekends in my tiny Chicago apartment. I had photos of a walnut coffee table as my screensaver. That was my mistake. I typed back before I could overthink it. Address? She sent it. A townhome in Lincoln Park. Not the high-rise everyone assumed. A real street. A real place. Then she added, "Come now if you can." I told myself it was nothing. Just a boss who bought a shelf she could not mount into a stud. I did not think about the promotion review next month. I did not think about my mom in Ohio watching every dollar I sent home to cover her medical bills. I grabbed my jacket and went. The sky was gray and low. A light snow had started, the kind that made the city feel soft and quiet. I walked up the brownstone steps with my toolbox in one hand and an old knot in my stomach. Boundaries, I reminded myself. Help with a shelf. Go home. The front door opened before I knocked. Elena stood there, barefoot on dark wood floors, wearing black jeans and a soft cream sweater that looked too casual for the woman who usually lived in sharp suits. Her hair was down for once. No tight knot, no pins. Just dark waves over her shoulders. "Hey, Liam," she said, "like we did this all the time. Where's the shelf?" I asked. Her mouth curved in a quick smile that did not quite reach her eyes. "Inside," she said. "Come in." The smell hit me first, not dust or cardboard. Roasted chicken, butter, garlic, something with lemon. There were voices deeper in the house. A man. A woman. Low and familiar. I stopped just past the entry, boots on the rug. "You did not say you had company," I said. Her hand touched my arm, light, almost not there. "I needed you to actually come," she said under her breath. "If I told you the whole thing, you would have said no." "The whole thing?" I asked. Before she could answer, a woman's voice floated in from the dining room. "Elena, honey, are you at the door?" "Your father wants to carve before it gets cold." Elena's fingers tightened on my sleeve for one brief second. "Yes, Mom," she called. Then to me, quieter, "Please, just walk with me. Do not argue here." I could have turned around. I should have turned around. Instead, I let her lead me down the hall. The dining room looked like the kind of place where nothing bad was allowed to happen. Long oak table. Linen runner. Real candles, not battery ones. A framed painting of a lake in the early light. 2 people sat at the far end. Her father, I knew from photos in the company annual report. Daniel Voss, founder, silver hair, broad shoulders even now. Her mother I had never seen, but I knew who she was the second she looked up. Same sharp cheekbones as Elena, softer eyes, lipstick that did not move when she smiled. Both sets of eyes landed on me at the same time. "Mom! Dad!" Elena said, her voice bright and careful. "Thank you for waiting. I wanted you to meet someone from the firm." Her hand slid down my arm until her fingers caught mine. Not an accident, a grip. My heart kicked hard against my ribs. "This is Liam," she said. Then she added, clear enough for the crystal glasses to hear, "He is my boyfriend." The word hit like a hammer in my chest. My toolbox strap slipped on my shoulder. Her father's fork paused halfway to his mouth. "Your what?" he asked. "Boyfriend," Elena repeated. She did not look at me. She kept her eyes on her parents, chin up like she was daring them to challenge her. Her mother's gaze swept over me in one smooth move. Work boots. Black t-shirt under my coat. Calloused hands. I did not fit this table, and we all knew it. "How long have you two been seeing each other?" her mother asked. Every warning bell in my body went off at once. HR policy. Power imbalance. All the reasons this should never happen. But Elena's fingers tightened around mine, just enough for me to feel her pulse beating fast against my skin. Long enough for him to be here tonight, she said. I could have laughed and said it was a joke. I could have pulled my hand away, apologized, blamed a misunderstanding. Instead, I pulled out the chair beside her and sat down, like I belonged there. "Evening, Mr. and Mrs. Voss," I said. "Thank you for having me." There was a beat of silence. Then Daniel set his fork down, wiped his mouth with his napkin, and studied me like he was reading a quarterly report. "What do you do at the firm, Liam?" he asked. "Senior analyst," I said. "Infrastructure side. I built the model for the Baxter deal." He nodded once. "Good work," he said. "Elena speaks well of you." That was news. Catherine poured me wine without asking if I wanted it. "Elena does not usually bring people from work home," she said. "Especially not men." Something sharp moved under her polite tone. This was not about me. This was about her daughter making a move she had not approved. "We thought you would bring Marcus," Catherine added. The name made Elena's jaw tighten. She took a slow sip of wine, shoulders still. "Marcus is a partner," she said. "Liam is my boyfriend." The second time she said it, the word sounded less like a bluff and more like a line drawn on the table. I felt the shift in the room. Curiosity turned to judgment, then to calculation. Why me, I thought. Why this? Why now? Dinner was a slow test. Daniel asked questions that sounded friendly but were not. Where did I grow up? How long had I been at the firm? Did my parents work in finance? "No, sir," I said. "My dad drives trucks." "My mom is a nurse." Daniel's mouth twitched, like he had expected that. "So you are the first one in your family in this world," he said. "Yes," I answered. "Big step," he said. "It is," I agreed. Catherine asked if I liked living in the city, if I had siblings, if I had big plans. Every question was a soft push against a wall, checking for weak spots. Elena did not let go of my hand under the table. When she needed both hands to cut her chicken, she rested her knee against mine instead, a constant point of contact. To anyone watching, we looked like a comfortable couple. Inside, my brain was sorting facts like a spreadsheet. Elena had never joked with me about dating. She kept the line between boss and employee carved in steel. Marcus, one of the senior partners, had been hovering near her office for weeks, always with that hungry smile. I had walked past one tense conversation in the glass hallway last Friday and heard just one sentence. "You know what your parents want," he had said. Now I was here eating chicken at her parents' table, playing a role I had never agreed to. After dessert, when the plates were cleared and the coffee came out, Daniel leaned back. "So, Liam," he said, "what would you say is your long-term plan with my daughter?" The question was a knife dressed as small talk. I felt Elena go still beside me. I looked at Daniel, then at Elena. She finally met my eyes. There was a spark there, tight and scared and angry all at once. "Help me," it said without words. I took a breath. "My plan," I said slowly, "is to make sure Elena has options." Daniel's brows drew together. "Options for what?" he asked. Before I could answer, Elena stood up. "Dad," she said, "can I steal Liam for a second?" She did not wait for permission. She grabbed my hand, pulled me out of my chair, and led me down the hall to a small room off the kitchen. She shut the door. It was a pantry full of dark shelves and the faint smell of spices. She braced her hands on the counter, breathing fast. "I am sorry," she said. "I know I blindsided you." "I know this is wrong. I just did not know who else to ask." I set my toolbox down. "What is going on, Elena?" I asked. "Why did you just tell your parents I'm your boyfriend?" She reached into the pocket of her sweater and pulled out a folded sheet of thick paper. She pressed it into my hand like it weighed more than it should. "Because of this," she said. "Read it later if you want. But the short version is simple." She lifted her eyes to mine. They want me engaged to Marcus by the winter gala, she said, and if I do not play along, I lose more than my job. My fingers tightened around the paper. How much more? I asked. Her throat moved as she swallowed. My name, she said. My shares. The work I have built for 10 years. My future. She took a shaky breath. I know this is insane, she said. I know I lied to you. If you walk out now, I will not chase you. But if you stay, even for one night, I need you to be exactly what I told them you are. Her voice softened on the last word. My boyfriend. I stared at her in that tiny pantry while the sound of dishes and low voices drifted in from the dining room. The paper in my hand felt like it was humming. My heart was beating hard, but my voice came out steady. Okay, I said. Then I am your boyfriend. Her eyes widened. Liam, you do not have to. I know, I cut in. I am choosing it. Some of the panic in her shoulders eased. She nodded once like a general accepting backup. Thank you, she whispered. I slid the folded paper into my jacket pocket. I will read this later, I said. For now, I only need one thing from you. Quote. Her brow pulled together. What? Do you want this? I asked. Not the lie, the fight. Do you want to push back against them, or are you just trying to stall? Her jaw worked. For a second, she did not look like my boss. She looked like a daughter who had been told for years that the path was already chosen. I want out of this deal, she said. I do not want to marry Marcus. I do not want him in my house or my life. I just did not know how to say it without losing everything. That was enough. Then we start here, I said. Tonight we make it look real. A faint, surprised smile touched her mouth. Are you sure you can act? She asked. I leaned a little closer in the narrow space. Her back bumped the shelf. We were close enough that I could see a tiny freckle near her left eye I had never noticed in the office. I am not going to act, I said. I am just going to treat you the way you should have been treated from the start. Color rose in her cheeks. She let out one slow breath, then nodded. Okay, she said. Come on, boyfriend. Time to face my parents. Quote. We walked back into the dining room, hand in hand. Catherine looked at our joined fingers first. Then she met my eyes with a new kind of sharpness, as if she had moved me from the guest column to the problem column in her mind. Daniel refilled his coffee. His voice was calm, but the tendons in his neck stood out. Everything all right? He asked. Yes, Elena said before I could answer. Liam was just telling me about his plans for us. It was my turn to improvise. I pulled out her chair and waited until she sat. Then I sat down beside her and let my arm rest on the back of her chair, not quite touching her shoulders. A public claim without a chokehold. I was telling her, I said, looking at Daniel, that I am not rushing her into anything. She has enough pressure from work. She does not need more from me. Catherine lifted a thin eyebrow. So you are serious, she said. This is not some office flirtation. No, ma'am, I said. I care about your daughter. I want her to feel safe. That is the only thing I am sure of right now. Quote, Elena's hand slid to my knee under the table, not gripping, just there. I felt her fingers curl in the fabric, anchoring herself. Daniel took a slow sip of coffee. You know what this family has built, he said. You know what it takes to keep it standing. I see the numbers, I said. I see the people who work late. I see Elena carrying more than her share. His eyes narrowed a fraction. And what do you carry? He asked. My work, I said. My mom's bills. My own name. He studied me, then shifted his gaze to his daughter. Have you thought about what this does to the optics of the merger? He asked Elena. There it was. Not feelings. Not happiness. Optics. Elena's chin lifted. Yes, she said. I have thought about it. I have thought about it every day since the term sheet landed on my desk. And? Catherine asked. And I will not tie my life to a man just to make a slide deck look good, Elena said. If the merger needs a fake engagement, maybe it is not as strong as you think. Silence stretched across the table. I was not supposed to speak. I spoke anyway. With respect, I said. If investors only trust numbers when there is a ring on your daughter's finger, maybe they do not understand where the real value is. Catherine's lips pressed into a line. Daniel's eyes flashed. "You have opinions," he said. "I have eyes," I replied. Elena gave the smallest huff of almost laughter, then turned it into a cough. Her mother brushed her napkin over her plate, as if wiping away crumbs could erase the whole conversation. "We will not discuss business at the table," Catherine said. "Not tonight." She stood, smoothing her dress. "Elena, help me with dessert," she said. Elena squeezed my knee once under the table, then stood and went with her mother. Their voices faded into the kitchen, too low to make out words. That left Daniel and me alone. He leaned back in his chair and folded his hands. "You understand this will not end at dinner," he said. "I figured," I said. "If you hurt her," he added, "I will end your career in this city." His tone was flat and quiet, no need to raise his voice. Men like him used other people to do their shouting. "If I hurt her," I said, "I will walk out on my own and you will never see me again. But I am not the one pushing her toward a man she does not want." His jaw ticked. "You think Marcus is a bad choice," he said. "I think Marcus enjoys power more than he respects people," I said. That landed. Daniel's eyes flicked toward the kitchen, then back to me. For a second, I saw doubt there. Maybe small, but real. Elena and Catherine returned with plates. Dessert happened. Coffee cooled. The rest of dinner was polite noise over a fault line. When it was finally over and the dishes were taken away, Elena walked me back to the front hall. The house felt heavy and quiet. "I am sorry," she said again, keeping her voice low. "They were not supposed to push that hard tonight." "What did you expect?" I asked. "They are parents. They test things. I survived." She gave a tired smile. "You did more than survive," she said. "You pushed back." I shrugged out of habit. "That part came free," I said. "Now about that shelf." Her eyes widened. Then she laughed, soft and startled. "You actually want to fix a shelf after that?" she asked. "You texted me about a shelf," I said. "I like to finish what I start." She led me up the stairs to a small room that looked half office, half library. There was a bare wall, a boxed set of floating shelves on the floor, and a level on the desk. "I bought these 3 weeks ago," she said. "Never had time to install them." "Good thing your fake boyfriend knows his way around a drill," I said. Her cheeks warmed at the word. Fake. Real. The line was starting to blur. While I worked, she watched from the doorway, arms folded over her chest. Her shoulders finally started to drop. "You do this on weekends," she said. "Build tables, fix things." "Yeah," I said, checking the studs. "Wood makes sense. Numbers do too, but wood listens faster." She smiled at that, just a little. "When did you start?" she asked. "When my dad hurt his back," I said. "He could not fix things around the house anymore. Somebody had to step up." She watched my hands as I drilled and leveled and anchored the brackets. "You do not flinch," she said suddenly. "At what?" I asked. "At my father," she said. "At Marcus. At this whole mess." I drove the last screw and wiped my hands on my jeans. "I flinch in private," I said. "In front of people who want to scare you, I do not give them that gift." I set the shelf on the brackets. It sat clean and level. "There," I said. "Use that space for whatever you want." She stepped inside and ran her fingers along the smooth wood. "I might put photos here," she said. "Ones I actually like." She turned to me, closer now in the small room. The quiet between us shifted from tired to charged. "Liam," she said slowly, "about that paper in your pocket, will you read it tonight?" "Yes," I said. "And if you think it is too much," she continued, "if you think I am asking you to stand in a fire you did not start, you can walk away tomorrow. I will not blame you." My chest tightened. "What if I do not want to walk away?" I asked. She looked straight at me, no shield in her eyes. "Then we will have to figure out how to win," she said. I left a few minutes later, after she insisted on walking me to the door. Snow was falling heavier now. The city looked quieter, muffled. In my car, under the streetlight, I finally unfolded the paper she had given me in the pantry. It was not just a dinner plan. It was a memo. Confidential. Internal. Subject line: Voss Capital Governance Structure Post-Merger. I read every line. Twice. There it was in plain text, a clause buried near the bottom. In the event that Elena Voss is unable or unwilling to fulfill a public engagement to an approved partner by the date of the Winter Gala, her voting rights transfer temporarily to a joint trust managed by Daniel Voss and senior partner Marcus Hale. My stomach turned. It was legal language for this simple threat. Say yes to Marcus in public or lose control of your own company. At the bottom of the page, printed in a different font, was a note. Undisclosed reputational concerns will be considered in evaluating fitness. Someone had given themselves permission to use her personal life as leverage. My phone buzzed then, as if the universe wanted to make the point clear. Unknown number. The message was short. We should talk about boundaries. It was from Marcus. Marcus's text sat on my screen like a warning label. We should talk about boundaries. I stared at it in the parked car while snow melted on the windshield and the heater hummed. I thought about HR, I thought about my job. I thought about Elena alone upstairs in that house with parents who saw her as a chess piece and a man like Marcus waiting to cash in. Then I locked my phone, started the car, and drove home. I did not sleep much. In the morning, I was at the office before sunrise. The building was half empty, just cleaning staff and the early ones. I liked it quiet. The numbers made more sense when the floor was not buzzing. At 7:12 a.m., Marcus appeared in the glass doorway of my small office, like he was just passing through. Tailored suit, perfect hair, smile that looked kind but never reached his eyes. "Liam," he said, early as always. I saved my spreadsheet and leaned back in my chair. "Morning," I said. He shut the door behind him, walked in, and sat on the edge of my desk without asking. "I saw a photo of you last night," he said. "Looked like you had a nice dinner." He let that hang there. "That a problem?" I asked. He tilted his head. "Elena is a key piece of a very delicate transaction," he said. "Optics matter. Her personal choices matter." "You mean her dating life?" I said. He smiled. "I mean everything," he said. "Investors like stability. They like a certain kind of story. It is my job to make sure we give them that." "It is not your job to control who she dates," I replied. His eyes sharpened. "You think you understand this world because you can build a model," he said. "You do not. You are a smart kid from nowhere with calluses on his hands. Congratulations. You worked hard and climbed a few floors, but you are in over your head here." He leaned in closer. "Walk away," he said quietly. "End whatever this is with Elena. If you do, you keep your job, you keep your nice little promotion path, you keep wiring money to Mom in Ohio, you hold your place." "And if I don't?" I asked. He shrugged. "Then you become a risk," he said. "And risks get removed. I will not even have to do it myself. The market does not like uncertainty." I held his gaze. "You running side deals a risk?" I asked. For the first time, something flickered in his eyes, a crack. "Careful," he said. "I saw the memo," I said. "I know about the clause. I know about the trust. I know you are trying to push her into an engagement so you can hold her voting rights." He smiled again, but it was tighter now. "You think you have the full picture," he said. "You don't. What you have is a crush on your boss and a seat at the kids' table." He stood, smoothed his jacket. "Last warning," he said. "Do not bring a hammer to a gunfight." He walked out. I sat there for a full minute after the door shut, breathing slow. Every instinct screamed at me to march to HR, to Daniel, to anyone. But Elena had been living with this pressure for months. She knew how fast this place closed ranks around Marcus. If I moved without a plan, they would frame me as the jealous employee. Elena would take the hit. So I did the one thing I knew how to do. I collected data. That day, between meetings and models, I pulled every internal document I had access to. Governance notes. Draft merger terms. Old memos. Performance reviews. I did not hack anything. I did not cross access lines. I just looked at what my clearance allowed. Patterns started to show. Marcus's name next to special advisory fees. His signatures on-site agreements. A series of meetings at the Drake Hotel logged as off-site strategy, with no minutes filed. On the same days, certain numbers in the ledger wobbled in ways that did not match the public reports. By noon, my eyes hurt. Elena messaged me. Conference room B at 1. Bring your lunch. I went. Conference room B was small and overlooked the river. Snow flurries hit the glass. Elena was already there, suit back on, hair up in a sharp twist. The woman from dinner last night was gone. This was Boss Elena again. But when the door shut, the careful mask slipped just a little. "You look like you got run over," she said, pulling a salad out of its container. "Marcus paid me a visit," I said, dropping into the chair beside her. "Of course he did," she muttered. "What did he say?" "That I should walk away," I said. "That if I stay, I become a risk." Her fork paused halfway to her mouth. "And," she asked, "I told him I do not take orders from people who hide their deals," I said. Her lips curved into a tired, proud smile. "Good," she said. I pushed a folder from my bag to her side of the table. "I started digging," I said. "Nothing illegal, just patterns. Look at this." She flipped through the printouts, the dates, the hotel bookings, the weird fee lines. Her eyes moved fast. "You did this morning?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "It is not hard. He is not subtle. He is just used to nobody checking." She sat back, the corner of her mouth tightening. "If this is what I think it is," she said slowly, "he is not just trying to control me. He is lying to my parents and to investors." "Exactly," I said. "They want stability. He is selling them a fake version of it." She drummed her fingers on the folder. "This is not enough for a regulator," she said, "but it might be enough to make my father listen." "You trust him?" I asked. She thought for a moment. "I trust that he cares more about the company than about Marcus," she said. "I do not trust him to care more about me." It was honest. It hurt to hear. I watched her, the way her shoulders carried the weight of a whole firm and a family name, while everyone else just took notes. "You should not have to fight this alone," I said. Her gaze softened. "I am not," she said quietly. "You are here." The words landed heavier than they sounded. We spent the rest of lunch going over the pages. She circled dates. I wrote notes. We built a timeline in simple language. No drama, just facts. As I stood to leave, she reached for my wrist. "Liam," she said. "After work, can you come by my house again? No parents this time. I need to talk without walls listening." "Yes," I said. The day crawled. Every time I passed Marcus in the hall, he gave me that thin, knowing smile. He did not know exactly what I had. That made him dangerous and sloppy. At 6, I walked out of the building. The air was sharp and cold. The snow had turned to a light, steady fall. Elena's townhome was a short train ride and a 10-minute walk away. My stomach tightened as I climbed her steps. This time, I knocked. She opened the door in leggings and an oversized college hoodie. No makeup. Hair in a messy knot. She looked younger, less polished, more real. In her hand was a glass of water, not wine. "Come in," she said. The house felt different without her parents. Warmer, quieter, softer lighting. The dining room was dark. Only the kitchen and the small back living room were lit. She led me to the kitchen table where my folder from lunch sat open. Next to it was another folder I had not seen before. "I called my lawyer," she said, sliding it toward me. "Not the firm's lawyer, mine." Inside were more documents. Her employment contract. Her share agreement. A draft of the merger with her handwritten notes in the margins. "We found the same clause you saw," she said, "and 3 more places where Marcus's language does not match what the board approved." Quote. I let out a low breath. "So he has been slipping in his own terms," I said. "Yes," she said. "And he has been using my supposed reputational risk as the excuse for needing more control." She took a sip of water. "I have a plan," she said, "but it is going to make things worse before they get better." "I am listening," I said. She looked straight at me. "I am going to let the fake boyfriend story stand," she said. "I am going to bring you to the winter gala. I am going to make sure everyone sees that I am not with Marcus. Then I am going to drop this in front of my father and the board when they care the most about the numbers and the cameras." "That is a lot of pressure on one night," I said. "I know," she said, which is why I am asking you now, clearly. She set her glass down. This does not just put my career on the line, she said. It puts yours there too. If this goes badly, Marcus will try to drag you down with me. People will whisper. Future employers will see your name attached to drama. You might have to start over. I thought about my tiny apartment, the checks I sent home every month, my mom's last hospital bill, the small stack of savings I kept for emergencies. Then I thought about Elena, alone in this house with parents who saw her as an asset, and a man like Marcus carving his initials into her future. I can live with starting over, I said. I cannot live with watching him own you. Her shoulders dropped like someone had cut a rope. You are sure? She asked. Yeah, I said. I am not here by accident. I am here because I choose you. The words were out before I could reel them back. Her eyes went wide. Color climbed into her cheeks, slow and deep. You choose me, she repeated. I do, I said, heart hammering but voice steady. Not as a prop, not as a project, as a person. She stepped closer, the edge of the table pressing into her hip. The distance between us shrank to a breath. Liam, she said quietly. The first time I saw you, you were arguing with a spreadsheet in the conference room at midnight. Marcus laughed and said you were too intense. My father liked you because you reminded him of himself at 25. I liked you because you did not look up when they walked past. You were too busy getting the numbers right. She lifted her hand, hesitated, then set it lightly on my chest. My heart thudded against her palm. I do not know how this ends, she said. I only know that I do not want to stand in that room without you. I covered her hand with mine, fingers wrapping around hers. Then you won't, I said. She looked up at me like she was memorizing my face. The fear was still there, but underneath it was something steadier. Trust. Okay, she breathed. We do this together. We spent the next hour planning, clothes, timing, where we would stand, who would likely approach us, how we would handle questions. It sounded cold when we laid it out, like a battle map. But every time our hands brushed passing papers or reaching for the same pen, the map warmed at the edges. At one point, she yawned, long and unguarded. The day had worn on her. You should rest, I said. Big fight coming. She walked me to the door again. The night outside was deeper now. The snow had settled on the steps in a thin white layer. At the threshold, she stopped. Liam, she said, one more thing. Yeah, I asked. Her eyes searched mine. At the gala, she said, when people ask how serious we are, what are you going to say? I thought about it. The easy answer would be to keep it vague. To say we were seeing where it goes. Instead, I told her the truth. I am going to say, I said slowly, that I am not going anywhere unless you tell me to. She blinked hard. Her throat moved as she swallowed. I am not going to tell you to go, she said. I nodded once. Then we are serious, I said. For a second, I thought she might kiss me. Her hand lifted like she was going to touch my face. Then she dropped it and stepped back. Good night, Liam, she said softly. Good night, Elena, I said. As I walked down her steps, my phone buzzed again. Marcus! See you at the gala. I slipped the phone back into my pocket. Yeah, I muttered to myself, you will. The night of the gala felt like walking into the last level of a game where you only get one life. The hotel ballroom was huge and bright, crystal lights, white tablecloths, tall glass vases with flowers that probably cost more than my rent. People in black suits and expensive dresses moved in small circles. Laughter floated over the sound of the band. I tugged at my tie in the lobby mirror. I was not used to tuxedos. I felt like a kid who had borrowed his dad's clothes, except the tux fit because Elena had texted my size to the rental place herself. I saw her at the top of the stairs. For a second, everything else faded. She wore a deep green dress that hit just above her ankles. Simple lines. No crazy sparkle. It fit her like it had been made on her body instead of for it. Her hair was half up, the rest soft around her shoulders. She looked strong and calm, and also a little scared. When her eyes found mine, some of that fear melted. She walked down the stairs slowly. I met her at the bottom. "You clean up well," she said. "So do you," I said. "You ready?" "No," she said, "but I am going in anyway." Her fingers slid into mine. We stepped into the ballroom together. Heads turned. Conversations paused for a beat. People looked at us, then at Marcus, who stood near the bar holding a drink like it was a prop. He smiled when he saw us. It was tight and sharp. "Elena," he said as we walked closer. "Liam, what a surprise." "He got the email," Elena said. The invite list was not a secret. He looked at our joined hands. His jaw flexed. "Optics," he said. "Interesting choice." "My choice," she said. Her father appeared like he had been waiting for that exact moment. Robert's tux fit, but his face looked older, more tired. Catherine stayed close at his side, lips pressed together. "Elena," Robert said quietly, "can we talk? Alone?" "No," she said. "We will talk, but not alone." "Not anymore." His eyes flicked to me. I held his stare and nodded once. I was not going to fade into the wallpaper. Before he could push, the MC tapped the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," the MC said, "if you could all find your seats. We will begin with a short update from the Vane family about the upcoming merger and the future of the firm." Quote, "The room moved toward the tables. It was like watching a tide shift. People still watched us, but now they also watched the stage." Robert leaned in. 15 minutes, he said. "We go up there in 15 minutes. Whatever you brought, show it to me now." Elena looked at me. I pulled a slim folder from inside my jacket. We walked to a small side lounge off the ballroom. It had low chairs and a bar cart. It was quiet enough to think. Catherine followed. Marcus stepped in too, uninvited, which said a lot. "Get out," Elena told him. "I have every right to be here," Marcus said. "I am part of this team." "Then you can listen to the truth," I said. I laid the papers on the small table. One timeline, one sheet of hotel records, one clean summary, in simple words that even a tired board could understand. "Here," I said to Robert, "dates of private hotel suites you approved as strategy sessions. Here, days where side fees moved in and out of shell accounts tied to Marcus. Here, the clause he tried to slip into Elena's contract about reputational triggers. None of this matches what the board signed." Robert read. Catherine read over his shoulder. Her hand went to her mouth. Marcus laughed once. "This is nothing," he said. "Thin patterns and guesses. You bring your boyfriend and a few printouts and think you have a case." "It is not just guesses," Elena said. "I had my own lawyer look at the contracts. These are not drafts. These are changes you pushed through under pressure, then blamed on my division when the numbers shifted." Robert's eyes went to the bottom of the last page. My lawyer had written one simple line there. "If accurate, this may require internal investigation and regulator notice." His face changed. Fear, then anger, but for once it was not aimed at Elena. "Is this true?" he asked Marcus. Marcus spread his hands. "Of course not," he said. "This is Liam trying to protect his golden ticket. Elena got too close to her employee, and now she is trying to cover it with a story." He turned to Catherine. "Think about the headlines," he said. "Daughter mixes romance and risk. Father looks away. The board will not like it. The market will not like it. The only way to stop this is to show that she is under the influence of someone beneath her. We can still fix this if we act now." He said it so smoothly that for a moment the room tilted. Then Catherine did something I did not expect. She stepped between Marcus and Elena. "Stop," she said. Marcus froze. We all did. "Robert," she said, eyes still on Marcus. "The pattern is clear. He has been treating us like marks, not partners." "Catherine," Marcus started. "No," she said. "You have been pushing our daughter toward an engagement for months while hiding your own mess under her name." Her voice was calm and sharp. You could tell she had stayed silent for a long time. You could also tell she had been watching. Robert straightened. "The internal team will review this tonight," he said to Marcus. "You will hand over every file they ask for. If you fight them, we will assume guilt. Marcus's smile vanished. I built this firm, he snapped. You would be nothing without me. You built numbers on paper, I said quietly. Elena has been keeping real deals alive while you played with shadows. His eyes burned when they hit mine. You, he said. This is you. He took a step toward me. I did not back up. I did not swing. I just shifted so I was between him and Elena with my hands at my sides. Calm. Solid. You put a tracker on my car, I said. You sent messages trying to scare me off. You threatened my job. You tried to punish her for saying no. For a second it felt like he might punch me. His hand curled, then dropped when the door opened. The head of internal compliance stood there. Behind him were two more senior people and the MC, looking nervous. Robert, the compliance head said, we need to speak with you and Mr. Thorne before the announcement. Robert looked at the folder, then at Marcus. We are done here, he told Marcus. He turned to Elena. I was wrong, he said. The words looked like they hurt his mouth. We will fix this. And for what it is worth, I am sorry I made you feel like you had to lie. Elena did not say it is okay. She did not make it easy. Thank you, she said simply. They left with Marcus and the compliance team. The air in the little lounge felt lighter and heavier at the same time. Elena sank into a chair. Her hands shook. That just happened, she said. Yeah, I said. Marcus is not going to walk away quietly, she said. I know, I said, but now he has more to fight than just you. She leaned her head back and stared at the ceiling. You stayed, she said. You really stayed. I sat on the low table in front of her so we were at eye level. I told you, I said. I am not going anywhere unless you tell me to. Her eyes filled, but the tears did not fall. I am not going to tell you to go, she whispered. A knock sounded at the door. Catherine stepped back in, alone. For the first time since I met her, she looked unsure. Elena, she said, you do not have to come on stage for this. We can handle the public part. Elena stood. No, she said. I will be there. I am not hiding. I am also not standing next to Marcus while you act like everything is fine. Catherine nodded slowly. Fair, she said. Her gaze landed on me. You are the analyst from the Midwest, she said. The one who fixed the model in October. Yes, I said. You are also the man my daughter brought to dinner and called her boyfriend without warning, she said. Yes, I said again. She studied me for a moment. Then she nodded once, very small. Good, she said. She needed to pick someone who does not scare easily. She left. Elena let out a breath that sounded like a laugh mixed with a sob. Did my mother just give us her blessing? She asked. Kind of, I said. On stage, the announcement changed. There was no glowing talk about a perfect merger and a bright future. There was a measured statement about a, quote, temporary adjustment in leadership and a thorough internal review. No names were said, but people in that room were not stupid. They understood. Marcus did not come back into the ballroom. The band started up again. People drifted toward the bar, talking in low voices. The real party was the gossip, not the music. Elena and I stayed near the back, by a tall window. Snow fell in slow sheets outside. The city lights blurred behind it. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Which part? I said. Saying yes to dinner, she said. Letting me throw you in front of my parents, standing up to Marcus. I thought about my bank account, my mother's bills, the way my name might show up in certain circles now. Then I thought about Elena's face when she said, you stayed. Not for a second, I said. She turned to face me fully. In that case, she said, I should probably stop calling you my fake boyfriend. My heart kicked. Okay, I said. What are you going to call me instead? She stepped closer. The light from the window made her eyes look softer and darker at the same time. My boyfriend, she said, without the trick. She lifted a hand to my collar and straightened it, fingers lingering on my neck like a question. Is that all right? She asked. I slid my hands to her waist, gentle, giving her room to move away if she wanted. For me, I said, that is better than all right. She smiled, small and real, then rose on her toes and kissed me. It was not a movie kiss with dips and clapping. It was warm and steady and honest. Her fingers curled in my jacket. My hands tightened, just enough to hold her there, not to trap her. When we broke apart, I rested my forehead against hers for a second and breathed. "Liam," she said soft, "after tonight, this will not be simple." "I do not want simple," I said. "I want real." She nodded against my chest. "Then that is what we build," she said. Weeks later, the fallout settled. Marcus was gone. Official statements did not use his name, but internal emails did. Words like misconduct and breach of trust floated through the building. Compliance took over a floor. The merger went forward, but under new terms. Elena got a formal seat on the board, not just as a figure, but with real votes. Her contract was rewritten without the hooks and traps. My promotion got delayed, then came back in a different shape. New title, new pay. A few people treated me like I was radioactive for a while. I could live with that. On a quiet Saturday afternoon, I sat in my small apartment on the couch that still sagged in the middle. The smell of something good came from the kitchen. Elena patted out in my old t-shirt and leggings, holding 2 mugs of coffee. She curled up beside me, tucking her feet under my leg like it was the most natural thing in the world. "My parents are coming to dinner next week," she said. "Here?" I asked, looking around at the mismatched furniture and the plant that was trying its best not to die on the windowsill. "Here," she said, grinning. "No strings. No contracts. Just dinner. I told them they can bring dessert if they want to feel useful." I laughed. "You gonna introduce me the same way?" I asked. "Drop the word boyfriend like a bomb again?" She set her mug down and leaned into my side, her head on my shoulder. "No," she said. "This time it will not be a trick. It will be the truth." She turned her face up to mine. "This is Liam," she said softly, practicing. "My boyfriend. The man who stood between me and a man who thought he owned my life. The man who chose me when it cost him." Her eyes shone. "And the man who is not going anywhere," I said. She smiled. "Exactly," she said. She reached for my hand and laced our fingers together. In the end, my boss did trick me into dinner at her place. But I was the one who chose to stay.